Hello, welcome to my pilot recording of a cycle-based agile Atlassian webinar YouTube thing. I was thinking about how best to start recording something a little bit different, and people seem to like seeing the lovely Brisbane landscape or trees go by in the background, so this felt like a good way to do things. Although you might catch me a bit out of breath on the hills. I thought for this initial outing of things, given the timing, we do a little bit of a recap of Team 24 and all the exciting things that Atlassian spoke about on the way, whilst I wait for some traffic to be clear. I think the keynotes at Team 24 are particularly good, and really the key one that everyone's speaking about is Atlassian Rovo and the march of AI everywhere. Rovo was a bit of a surprise product announcement, but I think what's really exciting is the way it's knitting together things. Not just doing a sort of fancy pants AI generates pictures and all those elements there, but really the idea that you can use Rovo and Atlassian and the platform to bring together all of your third-party SaaS services, things like Canva we're showcased on the stage, is really, really exciting. And the demo that really caught my eye was the one using Jira Service Management, where someone raised a request from a marketing sort of campaign perspective, and then Rovo would go out to your third-party service, which in their example was Canva, generate some imagery, some concept artwork based on the prompt. Then in JSM, you'd be able to go back in and review, feedback, comment, ask for changes, all before having to interact with a human. But I hope that comes later, of course. So Rovo, really exciting. No pricing announced yet, but we'll see what comes back. The other things that came through are really focused on the core of Atlassian's platform. Thinking about Jira for starters. Most of us, Jira is the core of our work with Atlassian, where we've spent most of our time. Big announcement, first of all, not cosmetic, but a sort of branding change. So Jira Work Management and Jira Software now coming together. It sounds like a kind of name change until you look at what that means. And for me, the exciting thing is bringing in all of the functionality that's been very business and non-tech friendly, things like lists and calendars and those areas of Jira Work Management, and bring those in within the Jira interface. And it's interesting with cloud and things rolling out fast, I've already seen teams really benefit from that, so that's quite exciting. So Jira Work Management and Jira Software coming together. Now it's just Jira, which saves a lot of confusion in people talking. The other product that got a lot of love at Team 24 was Compass. We were having a chat in my area the other day and asking who knew what Compass was, and it was really interesting how until fairly recently it's not been on the radar for lots of people, but I've been a fan for a while now, and really, really interesting how it was focused on a team. So for anyone that hasn't had a look, have a look at the Compass website. It provides really, really exciting capabilities that augment the rest of your experience in Jira and Confluence with a DevOps lens, and really looking across all the components and services and functional bits and pieces that your teams might look at. Within Compass, lots of the demos showed things like the scorecard for health, and I think it's a really interesting additional lens to have on the data, and again reinforces that idea of Atlassian being the hub of your experience. Other things that got a lot of love, we saw a bit of Atlassian analytics come in, super powered by AI, so taking graphs, metrics, data that would be difficult for you to access, using AI to be able to use natural language to inquire, build things there, very interesting. The other bits that I spent a lot of time in the week were talking to partners, some marketplace partners at Atlassian. And I think last time I looked, there's over 5,000 partners in the Atlassian marketplace, or apps in the Atlassian marketplace now. Really interestingly, they're going to be able to access Rovo and those capabilities to build kind of flavoured, specialised versions of what the AI agents can do. Now, a few other changes that spring to mind. One that was announced very loudly was changes to the products known previously as Atlassian Access and Atlassian Beacon. Now, Atlassian Access has been a bit of a strange one previously, trying to communicate to people why you have to have a whole separate product just for adding SSO and identity management. Sometimes is a bit strange. But they're combining those two products now in something called Atlassian Guard. So they're bringing together identity management, threat detection, security, all of that kind of DevSecOps goodness into a new product, Atlassian Guard, with two tiers, standard and premium. And I think it does actually offer a really compelling reason to buy or reason to have that there. And for clients, for organisations that are maybe a little bit wary of moving to cloud, it provides them with a really nice package solution, or at least a conversation starter as to how they can manage that infrastructure in that new place for them. One that crept in a little bit and I didn't notice during Team, but has been on the forum since, is that Atlassian Atlas is being not quite retired, but merged in more intelligently into a lot of the other products. So when the Jira merge was announced, you could see goals creeping in the left-hand side amongst the functionality. And the short version is that the functions that were, or the features that were part of Atlas, will now be merged into the other products. So things like goals and narrative reporting, those areas that people have been really enjoying as part of a lightweight solution in Atlas, those will be absorbed in and found more intelligently in place. We also heard that Ops Genie functionality is going to be integrated a lot more. So I mentioned Compass and also a bit of Jira, and Ops Genie functionality will be embedded much more tightly in those spaces, which I think makes sense too. Otherwise, there was lots of exciting other stuff. A sad departure of Scott. So everyone waving goodbye to Scott Farquhar. Those things. But other than that, it was an amazing week. And there'll be lots more features that people miss being in the detail, I'm sure, that we see coming up over the coming weeks too. So that's it from me. This is a pilot episode. Let's see how people like it or not. And maybe I'll record another one soon. See you soon.